Hemp Wizard's signature series artists are Walking Corpse Syndrome, So High, Black Sasquatch, Fester, You can give your beard the magic touch by going to hempwizard.net today and rock out with your
Get ready! Get ready! Get ready!
That's my cue to start the show. Welcome to another live edition of the Hard Rock and Sports Show, live from High Top Hard Rock and Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are our weekly get-together. We bring you all the biggest news from around the worlds of hard rock, heavy metal, of course, the wide world of sports. And gentlemen, ladies, and fans of all ages, thank you for tuning in this Thursday night, last Thursday in October, I should say. Boy, oh boy, has the year not flown by. It is October the 26th in the year of our good Lord, 2023. We are on the precipice of greatness. We are on the eve of incredibleness. What am I talking about? November 1st is around the corner. Next Wednesday, before we do another show. What happens November the 1st, folks? Does anybody know out there? Raise your hands if you know what happens on November 1st. Christmas music starts on Sirius XM. That's right. Christmas music is back. I get to start listening to Christmas music every day. That's right. I get 2 solid months of Christmas music. Driving in and driving home every day from work. While I'm at my job and any other place I feel like it, including this show. So, bite it. I get to listen to Christmas music for 2 months, and it's around the corner. I will be in Florida listening to Christmas music. That's right. I love it. I love it. It's Christmas time. 2 solid months of my favorite time of the year, and that's what we celebrate here on Hard Rock and Sports Show. Beside football, it's Christmas. We'll be talking all sorts of Christmas stuff the next 2 months. And in fact, I think I'm going to be holding a trivia contest. That's right, a trivia contest for Christmas. That's right. We're going to have a nice trivia contest. I've decided. I will come up with the questions. I will pick the contestants, including my partner, and see who knows the most about Christmas. The songs, the shows, the movies, all of that good crap. Merry Christmas. That's what we say here. Merry Christmas, not happy holidays. I don't care about the other holidays. It's great. Have them. I worry about Christmas. So having said all that, we got a great show for you tonight. Lots to talk about. We got the World Series coming up Friday night. We got Giants and Jets. The battle for MetLife Stadium could be called Jet Life Stadium by the end of the day, folks. We'll talk about who's got the most pressure. Who needs this game more? Should Tyrod Taylor be the quarterback of the New York Giants going forward, regardless of Daniel Jones' health? There's a lot of game and side notes to this game. So pay attention. We got a lot to talk about there. We'll talk a little bit of triumph. We'll talk about the 2028 Olympics. They added a new sport. I want to see what you think about it. So lots to talk about. I will stop yelling, and we'll get the show kicked off like we always do each week. So thanks for tuning in, and thanks for stopping by. We'll go as long as we can and as long as we want to. somewhere in the air at 9 o'clock. So hang in there. Let me get the show started the right way. And it's only one way to do that. And that's bring on the sexiest man on his side of the screen, my buddy of 40 plus years, and the star of the Remorons, Mr. Jeff Czar Tawinski. What's up, Czar?
What's up, man?
Thursday night, man. That's what's up. It's Thursday night. Lots to get to, man. But let's kick off the show the right way, Mr. Jeff Tawinski. And Jeff, how was your week?
Another long week, but it's over.
I got to ask the question. You know, we didn't talk about it last week, and I've been remiss to ask you in our personal time. How's the deck enclosure? New room? Has it finished? Are we ready to break it in? What's the deal?
It is round now up, but windowless and doorless.
Ah,
So we're waiting for that to come, and then once it comes, it's good to go.
nice. Has it been a painless process?
Yeah, for me, yeah. I mean, you know, other than when we were putting it together, not the room itself, the deck, and getting that all ready.
Right.
But what they've been doing is pretty painless. It's a long process and expensive. So
I'm
we
sure.
have a couple windows, 11 windows, I think, or 13 windows left that have to go in, and
A lot of windows in a room.
13 windows
Wow.
and a door, and then another $5,000 to go, and then it's all said and done.
Wow. Well, good for you. I'm sure you're pumped to break in your new room. Now, is there a function of this room? Is it a specific function for this new addition to the Tawinski estate?
Well, it's going to be like a living room.
Okay.
That is the plan. And right now,
Is
What's
this a
that?
show? Is this a show living room, or this will be a functioning living room?
it's going to have to be a functioning living room for what we paid for it.
Okay. I grew up with a few people that had what you would call a show living room, where it was decorated nicely, cleaned, and you were never allowed to be in it.
That was me and my brother. We were never allowed to go in our living room.
Ah,
That we were one of those.
well, that's yeah. So we sort of had one of those on Bay Street. We didn't spend a lot of time in it unless people were coming over. But otherwise, after that, I don't think we ever had a show living room. But I did grow up with a few people who did, and you were allowed to walk past the room, but you never were allowed to walk in the room. So
Yep.
So, but interesting. All right. So I'm glad to see that the room is coming together. Do you have a target date for completion? A TCO, as they may call it.
My estimation, by the time it's totally said and done, spring 2024.
Oh, okay. So
Because
you
right
will
now,
not be-
by the time they come and they do it, that brings us to Christmas.
gotcha.
You know what I mean? So I'm
Will
not
that,
going
be, will that be the focal point of Christmas? Will that be decorated in there, tree, all the big layout? Will that be in that room or no?
there will be some semblance of Xmas in that room.
Okay.
Yes, there
Okay.
will.
All right. Well, it's exciting. It's around the corner. I don't know if you listened at the beginning of the show, but I'm pumped up. Next Wednesday, Christmas music starts to permeate through my radio in my car, maybe through into the show a little bit, and I'll get to start listening to great Christmas music for 2 solid months. And I'm sure that I start to see them now on TV, the Christmas commercials and all the different shows. And it's good. Any minute we're going to be getting the very first kickoff, what I call the kickoff of the holiday season, Jeff, and that is, of course, It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Yeah, I hear you.
That will kick it off.
Unfortunately, that's not on regular TV, so you're gonna have to watch that one at home
I will
on
certainly
either
do
Apple
that.
TV or unless you have it recorded. I myself have it recorded.
Oh, I will go on to Apple TV. I have Apple TV, I think. Either way, if I have to go on YouTube, I will probably this weekend, if not Tuesday night, do a little airing of the It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
I tried to find it every year to see it when we're actually chopping up the pumpkin, which will be doing tomorrow night. We were going to do it last week, and then I got talked out of it.
Now, to be honest with you, I don't really care for Halloween. I don't care about it. It doesn't bother me. I just think that particular show, kicks off the holiday season.
I agree. That's why I'm actually lighting up my desk now as we speak.
Nice, good for you.
I have some battery operated Christmas lights that I have strung strategically
Nice.
around the desk, and then I have my light up pumpkin lights, and I got my candle holders, not candle holder, but like this thing. So
Okay.
I put a little needle in there. You light, see his eyes are all lit up.
I see that. I see that. I do notice that.
Underneath the shelf there, and I got some stuff going. I got my Halloween tree.
Now I'm in a quandary this year, Jeff, because I am normally the fake Christmas tree guy. I like to have my tree up nice and early. Usually, I would tell you the last couple of years it's gotten earlier and earlier. I would say last year was probably 2 weeks before Thanksgiving it was up.
Wow.
And and I love it. I love sitting in the living room, the Christmas tree lights blinking, going on, and watching TV. It's one of my favorite things to do. But this year, with the lack of room and our tree had gotten a little old, we threw it away and we decided we're going to go to the real tree this year. So obviously, I'm going to have to go real tree, and I'm going to have to go a little later than normal, which is okay because we won't be back until right around Thanksgiving anyway. So I will probably immediately buy a tree the minute we get back and try to nurse that tree through December 25th.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. We did we do a real tree for the last I don't know how many years. On top of we do 2 trees.
Yes.
This year, I'm going to try to do something unprecedented.
Oh, which is
A 3rd tree.
A 3rd tree in the house. Wow.
Yeah, but the unprecedented part is this: I have a screen porch, which I'm going to turn into a Christmas land. I'm going to put a tree there. I have train set. I'm going to put a train set out. I have a few figures that I put them out there. Yeah.
Nice.
Keep the wife out of it so that I could do what I got to do.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, listen, look at you. Yeah, listen. One thing we are big fans of Christmas around here.
Mm-hmm.
I am looking forward to all the goodies and treats and all the stuff that goes with it, and then of course all the holiday fun for me, watching all the great shows and listening to great music. So
yeah, that's the biggest part for me. I can't wait for the shows and everything. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I have my favorites, and we'll discuss them starting next Thursday. We will start our big Christmas every week. We'll talk about a different topic, whether it's favorite movies or favorite shows. And we do it every year, and we just repeat ourselves. And you know what? I don't really care because that's what we like to talk about. And we'll, maybe we've discovered something new over the last year about ourselves or about Christmas or some new feeling or something. Maybe discovered some sort of new show, but we'll do that every year, and we'll continue. We'll have the debates on the best shows and songs. Bobby Finelli, look at you showing up, Bobby Feich.
Oh, humbug.
But that'll be starting next Thursday. But right now, we got a lot to talk about in the world. Again, like I said, 2028 Olympics are in LA, and they'll have quite the American feel with a brand new sport, which I don't know. Frankie got you. Hey, Frankie, you got to. I know everything that's going on, my friend. But it's just reason to celebrate a little bit, and remembering those with us and not with us should always be a big part of the holidays. And I get it. I look across the room to my little guy who's across the Rainbow Bridge, and it makes me sad, but it makes me remember all the great Christmases that I had with him. So you got to celebrate and enjoy your life because it ain't always guaranteed. So please, Frankie, you got to do us a favor. Yeah, I would tell you, Matt, that is something we will talk about tonight. The refereeing this year has been horrendous. I did not watch the entire game Sunday night, but what I did watch, and then when you come out of it, and I don't want to get too far into the weeds on this one, but Matt's right. When you have a professional football game, 4 quarters, and one team is penalized with 10 penalties and the other team gets 0, Jeff, there's got to be cause for some review of that game.
Say nobody is going to launch an investigation into that. Somebody played a perfect game without a penalty.
Yeah, here's what I would say. If I was Mike McDaniel, the coach of the Dolphins, at some point in the third quarter, you gotta when there's a timeout, you gotta call the referee over and say, I need to talk to your squad, and go, guys, you do realize there's two teams on the field, right? Like we got 7 penalties on our side, and they got 0, and that's not normal. So you got to blame the coach. You got to kind of bring that up. But yeah, to me, Jeff, it's impossible to play an entire football game and have one team penalized 10 times. Now, if you can tell me both teams, there was 2 penalties called in the whole game, they're letting everything go, I'm all with you, Jeff. But if one team's getting penalized 10 times, the other team better come out of it with 5 or 6 on their own, because otherwise you're telling me you're not paying attention.
Listen, things happen. And sometimes when you watch games and you'll see certain penalties called against certain teams, and then when they show the replay of it or a slow motion shot of it, you see that it's not a penalty. So it's hard to believe that a team wasn't called for a penalty even in a circumstance like that.
Sure. Even when they made a mistake and called the wrong penalty. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Yeah, and we discussed this, Jeff. We have a thread, you, me, Matt, Frank Jeffrey. And, I don't know what anybody else thinks. I want to get my dad's thought on this in a minute. But what I said, and I think the general idea was they need to expand replay to allow to review penalties. I think that I don't like the old way when they had the pass interference one, where they had a special ref and you can review every one of them, or they would chime in. I think if you have three, you get 2 a game. If you're right on both, you get a third one. I think you should be able to use any one of those replay challenges for anything on a field, including a penalty. And if you're wrong, you lose. You lose your third one. If you're right, you're right. But to me, there's games where you don't challenge anything. There's no fumbles. There's no this. There's no that. But there's a couple bad penalties that change the course of a game. And the fact that you can't go back and look at them, Jeff, to me, I think is a bad thing. And I think the NFL at some point has to wake up to the fact that penalties should be a reviewable part of the game.
Why not this? What's up, man? What's up,
Lou?
Why not? You're already given 3 challenges a half, correct?
Your 3 challenges for the game. You get 3 timeouts for the half. You get 3 challenges for the game.
Okay, all right. I thought that.
So you actually only get 2. If you get the 2 right, you get a third.
Okay, so you get 2 for the game.
Yes.
So give 3 for the game, 1 for a penalty,
right,
and 2 for other plays. So if you feel as though that the penalty wasn't warranted, or like there's a face mask and it actually wasn't a face mask, you go back to the sideline, you tell your coach, like, I didn't face mask that guy, and you want to use it in that situation, that's fine.
Yes.
I don't have a problem with that. But here's the thing.
Yep.
When do they stop? Just let the game be played. And what's up, Adam? And when do you stop worrying about replays? We've on more than one occasion talked about baseball, football, how it takes the human element out of it.
Yes.
Now, before anybody says anything, I understand what Matt, what you're saying, how, there's blatant calls and everything else. We've all seen them throughout this year, and this year seems to be bad. But, sometimes you just it's something that's been happening on some levels a lot over the years. I guess it just matters which team is out there. And if it just gets overall blatant, maybe giving an extra challenge isn't the way. They want to try to shorten the games and everything else, which, all right, I understand to a point, but, I don't know if giving another challenge, another review or something would be the answer. Maybe have an official up in the booth, and when you call a penalty, let him look at it.
No, see, I think that's too much. I think they did that with pass interference, and it got to be too much. They were looking at every pass play. That's the problem with that. That's why I say don't even add any more time replays to the game.
If the on-field crew throws a penalty,
yeah,
right? How about this?
Yeah.
On-field crew throws a flag.
Yep.
Okay. Now they call up to the booth, and maybe there's 3 people in the booth or whatever, and they make the call and be like, we say number 12 pass interfered with the receiver as he was going down the line, and then they look and they look it over. Sometimes these guys on the field, maybe they shouldn't be there. Maybe they can make the call or say we think there was a penalty, but let somebody else make the call. Somebody
Are you doing that after every penalty? That's a lot of time. That's why. See,
not necessarily every penalty. If it's an offside penalty, offsides.
Yeah, but again, there was a penalty in the Giant game. I think it was Giants Bills, if I'm not mistaken. Giants Bills, where the Giants completed like a 40-something yard pass. It was a big play, and they called Evan Neal for being downfield. When they went back and looked at it, they said he wasn't downfield. They have the guest referee who analyzes everything.
Ineligible receiver.
He was an ineligible man downfield, and he said that's not a penalty. He said he was not downfield. He was engaged within a yard of the line of scrimmage, and if that was able to be reviewed, then so all I'm saying for me is don't add any reviews to the game. You get 2 a game, just be able to use it for whatever you want. If you don't have to call it for a fumble or an interception or a touchdown, if that doesn't come up during the game and you got 2, or maybe the big play in the game is a bad penalty call, you could challenge that call and deal with it the same way anything else is being reviewed. If you make a mistake and it's overturned, then you only got 1 left. If you get called right, you get 2 still. So I don't think you need to do anything more than just allow penalties to be reviewed in the course of a game. Like Matt brought up a whole bunch of them, and they were right. There was one in the Giant game where they called a roughing the passer, and when you went back and looked at it, the guy never touched the guy, never touched his head, but it couldn't be reviewed. So to me, just make penalties reviewable in the same system you have now. That's the only thing I think you need to change. And then you would, and then you don't have to stop the game anymore. You don't have to have special referees. Just have somebody just be able to review. Right now, you cannot review a penalty, and I think that's the mistake.
You know what it is, Tom? A lot of it, I think, has to do to there's so much money involved in the game nowadays.
Right, but that's why you want to get it right. I'm not. Listen,
I understand that, but
go back to the original. Go back to your original statement.
How is it that they want to get it right? How is it they want to get it right? Do they want you to win, or do they want the house to win?
Well, that's the theories that Matt has, and I'm not that way yet. I'm not buying into the conspiracy theories. All I'm saying is if you want to take and put the human element back in, which I am fine with, if the human element's in there and there's no replays, I can live with it. You're going to get some good ones. You're going to get some bad ones. You're going to win some. You're going to lose some. But if you're going to have replay and you're going to use it to check on touchdowns and interceptions and fumbles, then do me a favor, use it for penalties too, and get those right in the same system. So, what's up, Johnny Collins? But to me, that's the crux of it. And Matt, listen, guys. Refereeing in a football game is not easy. There are these big 22 monsters on the field running into each other. You got 7 guys who are trying to narrow it down. I get it ain't the easiest thing in the whole world. It ain't baseball where you got 1 bat, 1 ball, and you're watching 1 spot. Hockey, you got 1 puck. Maybe you got 3 referees watching, 10 guys on the ice. And to me.
Yeah, but how many, before you go any further, how many officials are actually on the field?
7.
7 officials.
Yes.
So basically 7 officials are each watching 3 people or different zones of the field.
Correct.
Okay. So you would think that more often than not, they would catch it the right way or whatever.
I don't disagree with that. And Louis, that's what this all started with, Louis. That's how this all started. We were talking about the Eagle Dolphin game and how ridiculous that is to have one team called for 10 penalties in the game, the other team 0. If you want to tell me there's 2 penalties called in the entire game, they'll never go, then that's fine. But if you're going to call 10 on one team, that means you're catching things and you're calling things.
Be right back.
Good. So I agree with Jeff, and I disagree. I think you don't add any more replays to this. You don't expand replay any further. You want to keep the game moving, but let teams let teams challenge a penalty. And I think that's the bigger thing. And then you got to be careful. Listen, pass interference is subjective. I think all penalties are subjective. But when they say you hit him in the head and you look at the replay and go, he didn't hit him in the head, or they say he face masked, you go, he didn't face mask the guy. I think there are clear ones that are just completely clear that have changed games. And I'll go back to the Evan Neal Giant one. So, and that happens a lot. And Matt's right, and I get it. You can go younger. I don't think that changes anything. I think it's a fast game with 22 guys running around and 7 guys who are trying to keep up with all of that, and they're going to miss things or they're going to get it wrong. And I get it, and I think we should fix it, but don't add it. Just expand replay to include penalties. I think you'll solve a lot of the problems that you have. And so again, guys, remember Hard Rock and Sports. Jeff and Tom hanging here on a Thursday night talking football. We're going to talk a little Olympics with this. They added a new sport to it. We're going to talk a little Triumph. We're going to do a little baseball. We got a lot of other stuff to talk about tonight. So hang in there. We got a lot to talk about for the next hour and a half. Jeff's got some big gigs coming up with the Remorons and on November 25th. So make sure we'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's get my dad on. He's been hanging a while. Let's get my pops in, and then we'll get back to talking Jets and Giants for Sunday. Who's got the most pressure in this game? You know, who needs this one most? You know, Tyrod Taylor, Daniel Jones. Is it really a controversy? Are we really talking about a controversy here? There's a lot to get to in that football game. We're going to get to all of that right after my pops. So hang on a second. Let's get that on, and then we're going to get to Jets and Giants at this Sunday. We're either going home in blue in MetLife, or maybe it will be Jet Life Stadium. We'll see, folks. Hang in there. What's up, Pop?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, Mr. Florio.
I agree with both of you. I think it's getting away. Most sports now, everything is a replay. You're coming back for the replay, and you can't run a play without some kind of holding, or there's something, especially the outside receivers. There's holding, tripping, pushing, grabbing, and you'd be there all day doing. I don't know. It just doesn't seem right.
You know what, Pop? I think there's a couple different ways to call a game. I don't think. Listen, in my opinion, you could find a penalty on just about every single play out there. It's deciding what penalty has impacted a play to a point where it needs to be called. So I think there's a big part of that. So again, I think once you establish in the game, it's like a basic umpire that behind the plate. You need to establish your strike zone early. Tell everybody where it is. Is it a high strike zone? Is it a low? And again, it's also the most ridiculous thing because the strike zone is a strike zone. But if you're calling high strikes, call high strikes all night. If you're calling low strikes, if you're giving corners, if you're not giving corners, just do it consistently. I think the same thing in football. If you're calling holding penalties, call the holding penalties. If you're letting them go, let them go for both teams and let the teams play. Whatever the way you're going to referee again, then the teams have to adjust. If you're a batter or a pitcher or an offensive lineman, you adjust to what the referee or the umpires are calling, and you play your game that way. And that's part of being a professional and eliminating that part of the game. But if you don't adjust to it, or the referees or umpires are all over the place, then it changes the game, and that's where it's wrong.
Yeah, but Tom, there's certain penalties that maybe they should just rethink the penalty himself, like an ineligible receiver downfield.
Right.
Okay, I understand why it's called, but you know what? Maybe that's a penalty that should be done away with. Who's going to end up trying to throw a ball to a 350-pound offensive lineman anyway? So if he's 2 yards past where he's supposed to be, did it really impact the play that much? You know what I mean?
Right. Again, but that's the same thing. If it's a 40-yard pass down the field and the guy's a yard past the line of scrimmage, does the referee really need to throw the flag on that play?
No.
If he's throwing a screen pass and the guy's 5 yards downfield blocking already, okay, I get it. The guy's too far downfield. So there has to be a judgment in the referee's head to say, does that really matter? If I throw him past 50 yards down the field, did that guy being 2 yards downfield matter to the play? It did not.
No, of course not.
Johnny Collins, there will be a Christmas Jam this year. I promise that. It will be probably the Friday night between Christmas and New Year's. I will talk to Jeff more about it. But yes, there will be a Christmas jam this year.
I'm glad that John brought it up because he asked me yesterday, and we have more than one person from the Remorons that wants to come.
That's fine. It's you know the deal. I don't even know if I'll be jamming this year. I haven't picked up my guitar much in the last couple months, but yes, there will be a jam. I think it's going to be the Friday night between Christmas and New Year's, and that's the time I think it should be. It's the Christmas Eve is the Sunday, New Year's Eve is Sunday, so Friday night I think is going to be the night to do that. I think you guys have a Remoron show anyway on the 30th, so we'll do the 29th. Yep. But anyway, yep, we will be having a jam, and everybody will be welcome. The entire band is welcome down there as well as.
Let me say a couple of things, especially to Jeff. Jeff, I got to be honest with you. I'm a Giant fan, but the Jets look so much better than the Giants.
Do they know Pop?
Yes. Defensively.
I think the Jets are better. They're better, but they're not that much better. And I got to be honest with you, I think the Giant offense is better than the Jet offense. The Jet offense has done.
Yeah, Mr. Florio, do you have any access to insurance?
Oh boy, here we go. Here we go.
Your son needs fucking therapy or something, man. He's on drugs.
Oh my God. The Jets have won 3 games. The Giants have won 2.
You understand something's wrong, right? Over there on the other side in Monroe, New Jersey there.
I'm telling you the truth. I think that, listen, the Jet defense is really good, but the Giant defense the last couple of games has been really good. And I think there's a difference. The Jets are better, but it ain't huge. But on the offense, what have the Jets done? They scored 1 touchdown against the Eagles, and they let them score. So, but we'll get to that.
The first half of the Giants, first half of the game last
week. Look at it. He's pouting. He's pouting.
Just let my dad
see you. You're pouting.
I'm pumped.
I was disappointed in the second half. It was like they just shut down. They didn't want to do anything. Now I don't know whether they went on offense, defense, what they were doing there. But the first half they looked good. I like your hat.
Yeah.
I was just shocked at.
No, listen, the Giants looked okay. I think Tyrod Taylor is what he is. He's an average quarterback. I'm not telling you, but what did you see out of the Jet offense on Sunday or the Sunday before that leads you to believe that they're any good? They scored no points. They scored 0 points other than Breece Hall being allowed to run in the end zone by a team that gave up because they were trying to get the ball back. So, yeah, again, I don't think the Giants are the better team. But I don't think it's that far off. I think it's just going to come down to execution.
Well, you're going to see this week who's the phony and who's got a decent game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I expect it to be a defensive battle, and I bet you neither team scores. I'd be surprised if either team scores 20 points.
What's the spread of the game?
I don't know top of my head. Hold on.
2.5 or 3.5, something like that.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Giants or the Jets? It's got to be the Jets.
I would think so. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, the Jets are 3-point favorites.
Yeah.
Which makes a little bit of sense because their defense is definitely the best unit on the field.
If I'm a betting man, I got my money on the Jets this week.
Yeah. Listen, I wouldn't argue it, but I think it just comes down to who makes the most mistakes, and if it's Tyrod Taylor versus Zach Wilson. It's whatever quarterback doesn't make mistakes because I don't think either defense is giving up a lot of points. So it's going to be who makes the big mistake and cost their team the game because this could easily be a 17-14, 14-10 game.
Yeah,
easily.
It could be.
So it could easily be that game. We'll see. Looking forward to it, but we'll talk more about it. But should be a lot of fun Sunday at 1:00.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Tommy, I'll see you over the weekend.
Yes, I'll definitely see you over the weekend.
Take care, Jeff. Nice talking to you.
See you later, Mr. Florio.
That's my daddy brings up. Good one. We'll talk more about Jets and Giants, but yes, we will be having the holiday jam. We'll invite everybody, Jeff.
Yeah, they asked me about it yesterday, man. And
I missed last year. We didn't do it last year. Nobody
2 years in a row.
Yeah, so we will have one this year. I don't care if it's me and the Remorons. We'll be up in the studio. I will put out a message so we give everybody plenty of time, and we'll Well, maybe we'll get a theme to it somehow and have some fun. But I'm looking forward to everybody.
You know what I'd like to talk about now?
Sure.
People that dislike the New York Jets for no reason at all.
You're talking about my good friend Frankie Catalano, are you?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. That man is beyond jealous that the New York Jets are as successful as they are so far this season. Hear me out. The only one worried about them going to the Super Bowl or keeps talking about them going to the Super Bowl is Frank Catalano. Now, Mr. Catalano, you seem all right to me, but at least once to 3 times a week, if not more, he's posting some sort of jet bashing stuff. More so than any other fucking person I know online. I got to call him out about it, especially since he can't defend himself vocally. So we don't have to actually hear what he has to say.
So. We can edit him out.
Dictate him from here. I think that he is so jealous.
You think so?
Yeah, whatever it is, because his team is god awful.
Well, speaking of Frank, there is another Bronco fan, albeit an illegal migrant.
Get out a little bit, somewhat, Frank, somewhat. But we know where your intentions are, man.
But there is another a Bronco fan running around who it may be in the country illegally, and I think it might be time to see what he's up to this week.
Go ahead, man.
Hold on.
It is I, the Pepster. I am so melancholy today, and I will tell you why. See, my beloved Denver Broncos are going to play the Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Taylor Swift. See, the Pepster, one time, he had it bad for Miss Swift. I would spend many, many a nights in the corner in a dark alley someplace with a picture of Taylor in one hand, the little Pepster in the other, and I would shake it violently till he exploded everywhere. Peppy paste, every place. Ah, the good old days. And now, my plans of marrying her and making her the Mrs. Peppy have gone down the tubes, as she is now in a relationship with the one they call Travis Kelce. I am so sad, but I am hoping to swoop in, meet Taylor, get the woman, and meet Russell Wilson all in the same day, even though I am nowhere near the stadium. So this week I am going to make a prediction that the Broncos are going to win the game at the end, last play, by 2 points, and they're going to do it for Peppy. Arriba.
Peppy paste? Really? That would
Peppy paste, yeah.
I almost stopped it right there. Oh, well, the Pepster is making his way illegally, we think, across the country, trying to find now not only Russell Wilson, but he's also trying to marry Taylor Swift. And he may be the only person left who likes football who has any interest in seeing Taylor Swift anymore. It's Football Pays the Jets won to be jealous of.
Yeah, listen, 8 Super Bowl appearances and only 3 wins. Yeah, everybody.
That's the Pepster we hear from every week.
Why were you? I didn't know that Russell Wilson's grandfather played for the Broncos back in the fucking 40s or whenever that was. That picture was from that you posted the other day. He posted the first black guy to ever play football in a Broncos uniform.
Yes. Oh, the Hard Rocket Sports. That's Jeff and I'm Tom. We're here on a Thursday night, kicking it back and forth. We're going to talk a little Giants and Jets for this weekend. Stick around. We got a lot more. We're going to talk a little bit about Eddie Van Halen. I got some Triumph stuff. We'll talk about the Summer Olympics in 2028. World Series kicks off on Friday. I'll give you my prediction. You want to hear a little more about the World Series? Tune in Sunday mornings at 8 to Diamond Talk with Joe Gansas and myself. We do 90 minutes on baseball for the next few weeks. We'll probably put it on hiatus after the World Series and bring it back full-time in the spring or maybe some spotty shows along the way. But Yeah. So anyway, stick around. We got about another hour and change, and more about Too Swift and Mahomes. Punk ass brother.
Do you mean Kelsey's punk ass brother?
No, Mahomes is punk ass brother. Mahomes actually has a brother who's a punk.
Yeah. Well, what is his brother doing now?
I have no idea.
Brother's being stupid.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. So, and I want to clear the air. It's not that anybody hates the Jets or dislikes the Jets. Most people who do dislike the Jets, it's not the Jets, it's the Jet fans. It's the Jet fans who started out all of a sudden they were winning the Super Bowl. All of a sudden they're the greatest team in the league.
There we go.
So I'm just saying it's not the Jets, it's Jet.
Yeah.
Same with Mets fans. The Mets win the World Series every April 11th. And by July 11th, they're flushing the season down the toilet. So thank you, Frank. And when Aaron Rodgers is coming back, 2024, he's already tempered he's making slow gains. He's not. There's no way Aaron Rodgers is playing football this year.
Yeah, there you go.
And if he does play football this year, he will be a sitting duck. So he is not coming back. Now, would he drag his leg out there if they were headed to a big playoff game? I don't know. I would say probably not. But there's no realistic way the 40-year-old guy is going to be able to play this year. If he does, I would be shocked. So, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll go through the schedule. Maybe we get a chance. But
we signed up for 3-14 anyway. The way they've been playing.
Well, I think this is. Let's get to the Giant game. So, Jeff, who's got the most pressure on them in this game? Is it the Jets who are teetering on, playoffs? People are still talking a little bit in the background. Their defense is good enough to win a Super Bowl, kind of reminiscent of the 2000 Ravens. Terrible quarterback, but great defense. Is it the Giants who have to win in order to keep their playoff hopes alive in a very weak NFC? In your opinion, take out all the bullshit. Who's got the most pressure to win this game?
It's the Giants.
Why is that?
The Giants, because the Jets are a more put together team and are more capable of. I'm not going to say that they're a better team, but they're more capable of rebounding. The Giants have no offensive line. When they played Dallas, Daniel Jones was running for his life. The guy's throwing 2 touchdown passes in the games he's played. Tyrod Taylor's played a game and a half, already has 2 touchdown passes. They don't have a running game because their offensive line is non-existent. Saquon Barkley gets injured all the time. Every year he's playing. I think he's played 2 full seasons without getting hurt out of 4 or 5. And it's just simply that the Giants just have the offensive line is worse than the Jets. So the Jets have a second or 2 longer to throw the ball, which in the NFL is forever. And the Giants don't have the offensive line. And you could say whatever you want, but let your quarterback take 5 steps because the defensive line has got 6 steps on them. And they're tackling them from behind sometimes because they're just getting in. So how are they supposed to mount any kind of offense if they don't have an offensive line? So to me, I say the pressure's on the Giants.
I disagree because for the reasons you're saying, I'm
saying that the Giants have more pressure because their offensive line is worse than the Jets.
Louis, this would not surprise me if this was a 50-50 home game for the Giants. I think the Jet fan is out of his mind trying to get tickets for this game and will pay anything to get in this one. I will be surprised if it's not 60-40 Giants fans in this game. I will be surprised if it's not a big turnout for Jet fans. I think a lot of Giant fans in the families, they're going to be taking family members. I think you're going to see a big Jet presence in this game. So I don't think you're going to see Fireman Ed cranking up the Jets thing, but I think it's going to. I think you're going to see a big Jet presence in the stands. If you're asking me, what do you think, Jeff?
I think it's probably going to be around half. I mean, you're going to have a lot of Giant fans, but you're also going to have a lot of Jet fans. It's the home stadium they both play. First of all, I think it's a farce that 2 NFL teams have to play their fucking season home games in the same stadium. I think that's disgusting. It makes it a bit of
that That was but see, that's what the Jets and this is bets based on the Jets and Giants. Either team could have built their own stadium. They decided to partner up so they could save some money. I agree with you. The Giants should have their own stadium, hanging their own flag.
Your own. Think just that, your own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that is just your stadium. It's like a college team. You know, two colleges play and they have a stadium on the borderline and they split it or something. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I was never a big fan of the idea. Again, I think the Jets have more pressure. Here's why. You started out the season with extremely high expectations. Yes, it got way dropped after Rodgers got hurt, but you beat the Bills. You're winning all these games. You can't now, everybody's building up now. Oh, Zach's not that bad. The defense is historic. If the Jets went out there this Sunday and pooped the bed, and lost this game to a team that you're easily saying is inferior, to me, that's a lot of pressure on the Jets. You have to go out there. The Jets have to win this game. The Giants need to win this game. The Jets have to win this game. In a tougher conference, tougher division. The AFC East. The Patriots came alive. And they've already beaten the Jets. So, I'm not telling you that they're making a run for this, but that's, there's a lot of pressure on the Jets in this game to win this game because of that. So I think the Jets have the most pressure, and I don't think that there is a big difference between the two teams. I forget about the win totals, Jeff. Again, the Jets have the better defense, but it ain't by a ton. It's better, but it ain't, they're not killing people out there. They've had some bad games out there, and the Giant defense has gotten better the last couple games, and I do think the Giant offense is better than the Jet offense. You can tell me Garrett Wilson. After that, you can't give me a better player. All right, you want to back and forth on Breece Hall, Saquon Barkley? I'll give you. I might give it to you. I don't. But to me, the Giant offense is still better than the Jet offense by far. Because
right now I'm looking at it. The Jets have scored 113 points.
Yep.
On the season. The Giants have scored 85. So I would give the Jets the go ahead in that. The Giants have given up 174 points and are 89 points in the red, where the Jets have given up 119 points, and there's a 6-point differential. I don't know where the magic is here for the Giants. When Daniel Jones, let's go to stats here and have a laugh. Daniel Jones has been sacked 28 times. Mm-hmm. New York Giant quarterbacks in 7 games have been sacked 37 times. Mm-hmm. They have 4 touchdown passes in 7 games. That's really nothing to write home about there. It's
I'm not disagreeing that they're. I didn't say they were a great offense. I didn't say that. I said they're better than the Jets.
Their offense is just.
I think their offense is better than the Jets. I think their offense is much better than the Jets.
About that. Their offense looks like it sucks to me.
I'm just telling you. I'm just giving you my opinion. I've watched every game. I've watched a ton of the Jet games.
I gotta say, I don't agree with your opinion at all.
That's fine. So I think coming out this weekend, I think the Giants are going to, and I don't want to use the word surprise because I don't think it should be a surprise if the Giants win this game. I think the Giants are getting better each week. Now, I'll feel better about this game if Daniel Jones plays. I don't know if they've announced it. I didn't see anything today, one way or the other. And I got to be honest with you. I said this last week. I think that he needs to walk in there and flip some tables over, go threaten Ronnie Barnes, the trainer. Whatever he's got to do, Daniel Jones has got to wake up and say, I feel great. I am playing football. There's nothing broken in my neck. I'm playing this weekend. And Andrew Thomas, I don't want to hear that you're a 300-pound offensive lineman who hasn't played in 6 weeks because of a hamstring. Suck it up, buttercup, and get on the field. To me, this is the most ridiculous things in the world to see these two guys not playing in this game. This is for your season. You lose this, it's over. It's going to be almost impossible to come back after this game. It's in your stadium. You're playing your rivals. Walk in there, Daniel Jones, flip the table over, and tell Dable, I'm playing Sunday. Figure it out.
Daniel Jones is incapable of flipping the fucking table over. He's got a bad neck.
Well,
Why in God's name do you pound the table and tell that Daniel Jones demands to go in this game
demand to play.
when it's game 7 or whatever the fuck it is, week 7 of the year?
Because
Okay.
what's the play after that?
You don't know what his range of motion is in his neck or anything
He's
of that
throwing
nature.
the football. He's got a sore neck. So what?
So what?
It's not broken. It's
tried
not
to do
strained.
something with a sore neck. I
He's,
guarantee the guy's
he's out
not
there throwing the
playing.
football every week. You know
He's
what?
not playing because he doesn't want to play. That's not the reason why he's sitting on the sideline.
I don't. Let me tell you
You
something.
got to think long term. Your team right now is what, 2-3, 2-4, 2-5, whatever they are.
The 2-5, yeah.
2-5. If I was 2-5 and my starting quarterback said that his neck was hurting him, or I would say, listen, you come back when you're ready to come back. I'm not going to rush you at 2-5 when you have a bad offensive line and a lot of other questions and put this guy in jeopardy. You already have him signed and under contract for another year on the books and another 2 years after that. Yes, I understand those last 2 years could be voided, but you yourself have said it. Where else and who else are you going to get to replace these guys? I wouldn't take a chance with him and put him on the field.
If he's got a broken neck, if he's got a fractured neck, if he's got pulled muscles in his neck, I'm all in. If he's just got some discomfort, suck it up, Buttercup, and get out there. I'm sorry.
Again, Tom, you don't know that.
Again, that's fine. Then say it, but don't say, "Well, he feels good." He said, "I feel fine. I feel good. They just haven't cleared me for contact." I don't know what that is. Go in there and say, "You just cleared me for contact because I flipped your desk over. I'm playing football this week." I'm sorry, Jeff.
Who's he that cleared him for contact?
The medical staff has to clear him.
Okay, so the medical staff. So maybe the coaching staff just says, you know what? He's not that good. We want to see what Tyrod Taylor can do.
You know what? That would be shocking to me and illegal in football. But if that would be shocking to me if they didn't, again, could they be doing that? I guess it's humanly possible. To me, if you sign this kid up and as good as I think he is, and as good as he's has played in spurts, and as good as your team is starting to play, he's got to be out there playing football. If he's not, and he ain't the guy, then say he's not the guy. I don't know. To me,
if they say
not the facade, it's ridiculous.
They look stupid.
Yeah,
they look stupid. So they're not going to say it. It's just the same as the Jets aren't going to say it with what's his face, Daniel Jones. I'm not Daniel Jones. Zach Wilson. Listen, here they have Tyrod Taylor. I don't know when he played 6 games, but he's 53 of 80. His completion percentage is 66.3. He's thrown for 571 yards. Daniel Jones has thrown for 884 yards. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that it's a smaller body of work. So, okay. Average throw, Daniel Jones 5.9, Tyrod Taylor 7.1. Okay. Yards per game. Okay. It's Daniel Jones 176 to Tyrod Taylor 95.2. The length, the longest pass by each, not important. Each has thrown 2 touchdowns. In the 6 games that Tyrod Taylor has played, in the 80 attempts, he doesn't have an interception. He's been sacked 8 times. Daniel Jones has been sacked 28 times. The rating for Daniel Jones is 71.7. For Tyrod Taylor is 95.4. Maybe they just feel as though that Tyrod Taylor is the better option right now.
You know what? Yeah. Yes, Frankie, I do. Let me tell you something. Tyrod Taylor is never the better option. If he was, he'd be starting quarterback somewhere in this league with all the bad quarterbacks.
Quarterback for the New York Giants right now.
Again, Tyrod Taylor is exactly what he needs to be. A good backup quarterback for the New York Giants. When Daniel Jones can't or isn't playing, Tyrod Taylor is a good answer than Jake Fromm or Mike Glennon or any of the guys they've had in the past. So I applaud Tyrod Taylor. I watched Tyrod Taylor last week. He played a really nice first couple of drives. After that, he missed throws all over the place. He's skittish in the pocket. Does he have a little better? Did he look good with some semblances of the offense? Yeah, I thought he threw a nice ball, but he missed way too many plays. There was nothing else after that. So and let's be honest, he doesn't have a great arm, cannot make a lot of the throws.
Ooh.
So Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor.
First of all, just to answer Chris. Yeah, Chris, we do have Halloween decoration. Look, I'm a Christmas elf anyway, a Jets Christmas elf at that.
Yeah.
And as far as throwing the ball, you know what, dude? Daniel Jones can't throw the ball. You don't have time to throw the ball.
But again,
you also said that on.
I'm
this
not
show.
disagreeing. But again, so I'd like to see Daniel Jones behind the offensive line that's been out there the last 2 games, who played semi well. I'd love to see Andrew Thomas back, Justin Pugh move inside, get Schmitz back, put him at center, and get a real offensive line and put Daniel Jones out there with Barkley. I think the big thing we've learned this year so far.
You want to revamp the entire team. And then
I want to put the team back the way it was. My point is,
and none of those guys playing right now.
Schmitz is out hurt. Might be back this week. Thomas has been out for 6 weeks. Bredesen has been playing center.
I want to get a bunch of all-pro guys and put them on the offensive line, and then he could play a better game. Of course he can. He can only play behind who he has. And right now they have a bunch of guys that are filling in because their starters are injured. It's okay to say they're injured. It's not. There's nothing.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying is I want to get my starting quarterback back with my starting offensive line. And I think the big thing that if you want to take anything out of this whole thing, you want to know what the key that why Tyrod Taylor's looked much better than Daniel Jones has. Saquon Barkley's back. Barkley back in the lineup has reinvigorated the offense. It's forced the defense.
Daniel Jones had the chance to play with Saquon Barkley the first couple games of the season,
right? Okay, and nobody played well. I'm not disagreeing, but
it's documented.
But again, I'm just saying right now the offensive line looks better. Tyrod Taylor looks better because Saquon Barkley's back and playing well. That's it. But I watched the game. I can tell you.
Daniel Jones got to play in the beginning of the season before he got injured with Saquon.
So you mean that he, no matter what happens, say Daniel Jones could never play well the rest of the year, no matter what happens?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Okay, so I'm saying is all I said. I didn't say he would. I said I want to see Daniel Jones with the better offensive line the way they're playing now, and Saquon Barkley, and see what happens. That's all I said.
Wouldn't we all? And I'm saying, because it's documented, his offensive line is injured, so you can't see it. So
no, I can because I'll see Schmitz back this week. That means Bredesen moves back to guard where he's supposed to play instead of playing center the last four games or 3 games. Let Justin Pugh, who they just signed, who's been playing tackle, who's a natural guard, slide back to guard, and Andrew Thomas, and see a real offensive line together, and Daniel Jones behind center with Saquon Barkley, and I think this team is a better team.
So who's the offensive line to start in the beginning of the season?
Was Evan Neal
before all these guys got hurt?
Evan Neal, Bredesen, Schmitz. I think Glowinowski started at the other guard, and then Andrew Thomas.
So these were all of the guys that you want to see with Daniel Jones.
Correct. I want to see them back.
And when you did see them in the first 2 games with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley before he got hurt, they weren't performing anyway.
Right, but that doesn't mean they can't turn it around. That doesn't mean they Jeff, the last 2 games, the offensive line has looked like an offensive line. Has it been great? No, it's been much better. I want to see that offensive line or a better version, which if everybody comes back healthy, a better version with Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones and let them go out there and play. That's all I said. I never said they're going to put 100 points on the board in the game. I never said all I said was I want to see.
Being honest, where it doesn't look that good. They played with that combination already this season, and it didn't really turn into much, and you know that.
I got you, but I'm not going to throw out. I'm not throwing the baby out for the bathwater. If teams get better, I've said this, and I've said this all year, last year and the year before. I think teams struggled the first 2, 3, 4 weeks of the season. It's documented that most teams out there struggle because they don't play in the preseason.
No,
they don't practice hard enough. They don't play in the preseason. So it takes a time for teams to get their feet underneath them. Sometimes it takes time for offensive lines to gel. I like the way the Giant offensive line has looked the last 2 weeks with Justin Pugh at left tackle instead of the guys they've trotted out there. Maybe now with a fully healthy
Justin Pugh is playing left tackle when Andrew Thomas comes back, what do you do with him?
He goes to guard. That's his natural position.
Who?
He's played guard because they don't have a left tackle with
Pugh?
the other. Pugh. Yeah,
Okay.
Thomas goes back to being an all-pro left tackle, hopefully. So all I'm saying is I would just want to see that offensive line with Barkley and Daniel Jones go out there and play football. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But I want to see that. I think that's capable. And to Pete, I got you that Tyrod Taylor was nice to look at last week. I get it. It's strictly the offensive line was better, and it gave him a little more time to play. And they moved the offense around. I like the fact they threw the ball deep with Tyrod Taylor. But there's a reason why Tyrod Taylor's been signed to be and took a job as a backup quarterback for the Giants. He's not a starting quarterback. If you watch the entire game, and I was there for it, he had some moments. Most of it wasn't great. So again, he's better than most, but I still want to see the starter. That's the way I want to see it. And I want to see it this week. And I want Daniel Jones to walk into the office and say, my neck is better. I'm playing football this week, and I'm going to go out there and tell everybody I'm ready to play. And that's it. Be done with it, because that's what needs to happen. And it's tiring that it's not. It's tiring. It's tiring.
And let me ask you this. What happens if that is exactly what's happening and they turn around and they tell him, go back in the back room and sit there? We'll let you know when we want you.
Well, then if that's then good for him. Then for me, it's good for Daniel Jones. And I'd like to hear about it. And you know what? I like him to get out there in front of the cameras and say, I told the coaches I'm ready to play. Whenever they're ready to play me, I want to play. That's what I want to see. Because you know what? You're getting paid $40 million a year. Nothing's wrong with your neck other than it's sore. You know what? Rub some ice on it. Call up Deshaun Watson. Find out where you get the massages from. Go get your neck massaged and get out there and play on Sunday. This is a huge football game. Take out everything else other than it's the people across. There was a time with the Jets and Giants, and it wasn't too long ago, hated each other. You know, the coach and the Jet coach and the Giant players hated each other. They were pulling down trophies, statues. You know what? You got to go out there and win this game for a lot of reasons, and pride's got to be the biggest one. And then you want to save your season here. A win here puts the Giants. You got 2 winnable games coming up. Go out there and play football. You're playing better lately. Get everybody out there. Let's get healthy and go play football. So I still think one way or the other, the Giants are going to come out with a W in this game. I think Zach Wilson is going to implode. This is the game where he takes the step back. Okay, you have a couple of mediocre games. All of a sudden, he ain't so bad. You know, that's that commercial. Well, you know, he ain't that bad. No, he is that bad.
Oh, listen, I agree with you. And I don't care 1 game, 2 games that he has a decent run. I don't want to see him under any circumstances.
I agree.
As the Giant Jet quarterback.
Now, could he be?
I don't know what's going on, because first they're calling for his head. Now they're saying he's not that bad. So
yes, that if you listen to sports radio as much as I do every day, I listen a little bit on the way in and a lot on the way home, and that's what you're hearing. You just listen to, well, you know, if he just continues his progression, he could turn into a decent quarterback. No, he is what he is. He's what he's going to be. And it would be a miracle to get him any better, because I don't think he puts in the work. I got one for you. So there's been a big controversy this week because it's a bye week, he went away. He took off with his new girlfriend and went to Utah to visit his parents. And some people are in an uproar over it, saying he should stay here. He should be watching film and this and that. That goes back to that old Romo, Jessica Simpson for the playoffs. As a Jet fan or even as a football fan, do you care that Zach Wilson didn't stay in New Jersey and hasn't been practicing the last 2 weeks getting ready for this game?
Not really. And the reason I say not really is because we don't know what he's doing in his off time. At night, he could be sitting with an iPad watching all the video that they're sending him. You don't know.
I agree.
It's a vacation day. You can't tell me that every single player on every single team in the NFL stays at their compound during their time off and goes over film, pictures, lectures, and whatever else it is that they have for them 24/7 to prepare for the next opponent, even though they don't have a game this Sunday. I think it's a lot of bullshit. If the guy was going on a trip, like the infamous Odell Beckham picture, or whatever was the off week between playoffs or whatever it is, that's another situation. That's another story. You're in the playoffs. I think that's warrants a different kind of concentration than in the middle of before the halfway point of the season, and you're going to fucking Utah. What is he doing in Utah? Do they even sell beer in Utah?
That's where that's why that's where his family is. That's
I
where
understand that, but they're like Mormons out there. There's nothing going on out there. There's nothing but salt and deserts.
I think he just
And
went to
maybe ski resorts up in the mountains.
I don't have a problem with it, to be honest with you. I think, in today's technology, you can watch film anywhere. Now, what he's doing out there, or whatever, I don't. I think what it does do is, if they do lose and he were to play not well, I think now he's opened himself up to ridicule. But tell me where the other 53 guys were. Are they all sitting in the house? Are they all sitting in the Florham Park studying film? No, everybody who went on vacation. Nobody cares. But he's the quarterback of the New York Jets, and it's going to be more scrutiny. Again, I think it's ridiculous. But it was a big topic.
And I understand exactly. But you don't want to know something, Tom? If he goes out on Sunday and he throws for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns, and he runs for another score, and they don't even touch him, they'll say that the time in Utah, he's allowed to go there on his day off during the week. If he goes out and he's 8 of 23 for 49 yards and he gets intercepted 3 times, they're going to say that it was because of his trip to Utah. So really, 100%. Where does the guy get any kind of, until it's all said and done, you don't know what they're going to say. So it's just going to be speculation until they know what to say and how to rip them apart. But listen, a player goes home, whether it's a Giants player, a Jets player, a Bengals player, whatever. If they're not at a resort partying, I don't see a reason to question if they go home to visit family. Now, if there's pictures of him partying in a casino all night long, that he went there on Monday and he's still there on Thursday in the same clothes, partying and drinking, well, then, that there may be a bit of an issue there. But I don't think that it's anything to worry about.
No, I would agree with that. I don't think you have to worry about
regardless of who the player is at that.
I would agree with that. I think if you go out there last week and you're away, and then you get back here for the weekend, and you get ready for Sunday and Monday, and you don't miss a practice, and you're keeping your regular schedule, I don't see a problem with it. But it was a big topic, and I was surprised that it was.
Let me ask you this: the Giants played a game last week, correct? Right? Yeah, they did. Sure. Okay, and now they're set to play a game this week. Let's say Saquon Barkley goes to Atlantic City tonight. Let's say he's there tonight, and he leaves Saturday morning. Okay, and then he plays Sunday. Do you think that man should be ridiculed for a trip like that in state?
No. I
was away from the stadium.
No, I think if you keep your regular routine and you're at the stadium when you need to be, and you're doing your job, then I don't think what you do in your off hours, as long as you're showing up for work in good spirits and capable, you're not showing up hammered and all that. Yeah, again, I don't have any problem with a guy getting away from the game. And I think a guy like Zach Wilson needs to get away. I think he's got so much pressure on him that getting away from it a little bit, getting outside of the noise, I think is a good thing for the guy. I mean, again, as long as he's doing the work and getting prepared for the game, to me, I'd have no issue. I'd have no issue with it. But
I actually have more of an issue with a guy like Barkley, which it didn't happen. We're just using it as a hypothetical situation.
Sure.
Stepping away from his team overnight or 2 nights to go to Atlantic City and stay in the same state as I would with a guy like Zach Wilson going to visit family on his off week. I would think that you would want to spend all the time that you can on your work week to prepare for the game, where you have a week off. Like you said, you want to just go clear your head and everything else, because not for nothing, a guy like Zach Wilson, we don't know what his mindset is, might be a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit confused. Maybe that's not the word I'm looking for, but, 1 week they're calling for his head. The next week they're saying, just like you said, well, maybe he has it in him. Maybe he's made the change. Maybe he's a different player, which I think is bullshit anyway, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not buying. I haven't seen. Listen. What I think the best thing you say is he hasn't blown up in a game. He hasn't had that stupid game where he's thrown bad picks, made bad reads he's the last couple weeks he's just played average football where he hasn't cost his team anything and allowed them to be in football games and win football games. And listen, the Eagle win, let's call it. It was a good win for that team. Really good win. I mean, you beat
one of the best teams. It wasn't an offensive win for that team. It was a defensive win.
Whatever. It's a win. And the offense didn't make any mistakes that cost the defense a game. So I'll say it's a good win. You beat a team that some people predicted to win the Super Bowl this year. So I think
I 100% agree with you. You're still won the game on the back of your defense. Zach Wilson is yet to even come close to putting the team on his back and trying to win this team or win this game or win a game this season. He's yet to throw for 300 yards, I believe, in his career. I don't think he's ever thrown for more than 2 touchdown passes, if he's ever thrown for two touchdown passes.
I have to look that up. Yeah,
I would give the coaching staff more credit for the player Zach Wilson than I would Zach Wilson, because I feel as though that they're playing on his strengths and came up with a scheme to work off his strengths than to try to get him to force the ball and do things that he's just simply not capable of doing.
I would agree with that. I think they tried to force feed him what they were going to do with Rodgers early, and they changed their mindset and kind of tailored it to make it work. And I'm surprised they don't run the ball more, but I think they've got enough balance that way, and you're not putting too much pressure on the kid and forcing him to do things that he's not capable of. And listen, if that wins you games and if that gets you to the playoffs and get you a Super Bowl, then that's what you do. To me, again, I watched worse quarterbacks than him get to the Super Bowl. I mean, Trent Dilfer was horrendous, and he went to Super Bowl.
Everybody keeps saying Super Bowl, but I'll be the first one to tell you that it's not earned. It's not earned, and everybody keeps saying it. You said it on more than one occasion. Frank Catalano says it a lot on Facebook. He's always worried about what the Jets are doing. And I'm going to be the one to tell you, as the Jet fan, that's going to tell you, until they're there, you can't say that they're there. And I'm not going to say that they're there. And I don't think that this is a team that right now, the way they are, is going to march to the Super Bowl and win. Yes, they've played a couple teams tough, but they've also lost to the New England Patriots. They only did lose by 5 points. They did almost beat Kansas City, but nonetheless, they lost to Kansas City. And listen, until you get the W's and everything else, there's no reason to say anything at all remotely about even getting to the playoffs. They got to be, first of all, they're a 500 team in the end of October. So the season still has a long way to go. We got 2 more months to go.
Absolutely, and going to start. And this is a big week for both teams. I think it's a bigger week for the Jets. More pressure. Are they capable? We'll find out. My prediction for this game is Giants 20-17. Late field goal wins a defensive struggle. I think there's a lot of defensive plays in this game, and that's what it comes down to. Who sets the tone? I think the Giants are going to steal this one. If you could steal the home win, I think the Giants need this more. Even though I think the pressure's on the Jets to win it, and I think that's why the Giants win it. I think too much pressure on Zach Wilson in this game, and he implodes a little. I think this is the game that he reverts to last year. Your prediction, Jeff?
I don't even think it's going to be that high scoring. I don't see it being that high. I think that it's going to be more, maybe 14-10, 14-7. It's not going to be, because both offenses suck. I don't care what anybody says.
I won't disagree with that. Okay, that's more than fair. So 14-10 Jets, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think that the Jets defense is going to pound the shit out of Tyrod Taylor.
Okay, it's very possible. It's
and I also think Saquon Barkley is going to get traded this week.
It's already, Giant ownership has already said that they will not trade Saquon Barkley.
No.
Saquon Barkley's going. I would be shocked and surprised again if somebody comes in with a huge offer. Anything's possible. Do I think it's going to happen? Coming off a loss this week, it's more likely. Coming off a win, it'll never happen. But I think the Giants have seen how much and how important Saquon Barkley means to that team, both in the locker room and on the field. They are a much different team when he's healthy and playing well. he forces the other team to defend a lot more real estate. Wow, look at Frankie Catalano.
It's because he's smoking shoe polish over there.
Hey, all right, so we'll switch off the Jets and Giants for a little bit. I want to get some music stuff in. It's 8:15 already here on Hot Rocket Sports. Jeff and Tom every Thursday night. Hey, it is over 3 years since Eddie Van Halen passed away, and there's still been no real tribute to Eddie. And I'm a little surprised at this point. Such a legendary player, a guy that so many people have just found to be their inspiration, iconic. Just one of those guys. When you think of the guitar, he comes to mind, especially guys in our genre of music that we love to listen to. But I think it's almost a tragedy that this guy at this point, they haven't done it. I mean, they've done it for so many other people. What's his name from Queen had a tribute concert. They've had one for years. They had a revolving one for Randy Rhoads. There's always stuff talked about for Jimi Hendrix. Jeff, why no Eddie Van Halen? Is it the Sons of Jerk Off? Is it just not that important to people? Why no Eddie Van Halen tribute? And do you think it's wrong?
I think it's wrong? Yeah, it would be nice to see a Van Halen tribute to Eddie Van Halen. Let's put it that way. I honestly, truly think that there's nobody here to give a tribute to Eddie Van Halen. There's nobody worthy to give a tribute to Eddie Van Halen. Joe Gansas, you say about Satriani is supposedly.
Yeah, I just gonna say supposedly put it together already. It's 3 years.
You don't know that. Steve Vai. What other guitar players are out there that you want to see Kirk Hammett and his wah pedal come out and do a tribute to Van Halen? Maybe Zach Wilde and one of those little pinch harmonics that he does. Who's it going to be? Is George Lynch capable of doing that stuff? Possibly. Maybe Satriani, maybe Steve Vai, maybe Adrian Vandenberg. But these guys, there's nobody out there. What is the next band after Van Halen? Who is the next up-and-coming band? There's nobody. There is nobody. Music, heavy music is practically dead.
No, I got it, but there's still no reason. And I don't care who plays. To me, there's a ton of guitar players. Whether they're as good as Eddie isn't the question.
Don't tease the people.
Joe, stop teasing people, Joe. Don't tease them. But no, I don't think it's about who plays. I think it's just about getting out there, putting on a concert, put his picture up on the screen, and having a bunch of people come out there and play his music.
Okay, but think about what you just said. It doesn't matter who it is that play it. It doesn't matter who it is that plays it, but get a bunch of people. Okay, who are the people?
You named the whole bunch. To me, I'm
asking you to name those people. I wanted to see who you're going to pick to come out.
If you're asking me who I would take to play Eddie Van Halen stuff,
yes,
that's a great question. Well, I would love to see some of those guys like Satriani come out there and do that, like without all the effects and all that stuff. I would love. I saw Steve Jones from Trickster at an Eddie Trunk anniversary show do a bunch of Van Halen songs. What's his name? Bumblefoot. Oh my God, I'd love to see that guy play a set of Eddie Van Halen stuff. So to me, there's a bunch of guitar players that
guitar players maybe, and then who's the band behind it? Who are you going to get? Does Alex Van Halen come out and play drums?
Yeah, it should be Alex Van Halen. It should be Michael Anthony. It should be Sammy. Yeah, it should be all of them.
Do you want to hear David Lee Roth sing?
It's not about everybody else. It's a celebration of Eddie. That's what it's about.
I hear you, but do you want to hear David Lee Roth butcher a bunch of Van Halen songs at this point in time?
Yeah, I do. I honestly, truly would not mind, even though it's butchering. Listen, I saw Sammy Hagar with Van Halen in their prime, and they were terrible. So it's not about how great the music is. It's not about how great the players are. It's about celebrating Eddie. It's not take all that other stuff out, like that it's going to sound good, that it's good, that they're great players. It's, to me, I want to see Eddie's picture up there. I want a bunch of guitar players. Yeah, name guitar players are always better, who are going to come out there, play the music, and then tell why Eddie was important to them, and just pay tribute to the guy for one night. I don't think it's a lot to ask, and I don't think it's that big a deal. I just think it's something that should have been done already. It's 3 years since the guy passed, and to me, at that point,
I don't think that there's any players worthwhile to get up there and to put together a proper tribute. If you want to put together a semi-half-ass tribute, then I think that it could be done. But somebody like Eddie Van Halen, okay, not Van Halen, Eddie Van Halen.
Mhm.
There's a difference between Van Halen and Eddie Van Halen, okay? To capture Eddie Van Halen, you want to make sure that you do it right. You want the right people.
Mhm.
I understand what you want to do, just like Queen did with Freddie Mercury. Except the difference is that years ago there was a bunch of bands playing still. There's hardly anybody left. What are you going to get AC/DC to come out?
You don't need a whole band. You don't need a whole band. To me, look at the Queen tribute. It was all the guys in Queen, and they brought a bunch of singers in to sing Freddie's songs.
No. Extreme played, Metallica played.
Okay.
There
So
was a whole bunch of different bands that played. That
those guys are all still playing. Those are the type of bands are all still out there playing.
Tony Iommi was out there playing.
I don't even want that. Oh, to me, Alex buying the kit. You can get Wolfie in to play bass or play a little guitar. You can get Michael Anthony, and then you get 2 singers. And if you want to even bring Gary Sharon in, that's up to you too. But to me, all I want is a bunch of guitar players coming up there and playing their best Eddie stuff. And while do I think they're all at Eddie's level? No, but you're talking about classic guitar players and Satriani and Vi and George Lynch, even the Zach Wildsworld. These are quality guitar players. I'm not saying they're at Eddie's level, but Bumblefoot, that guy is amazing. That guy can play anything. I've heard him play all that stuff. I heard Steve Jones from Trickster knocking the shit out of Eddie Van Halen stuff at a concert. It was amazing. It made me a fan of the guy. But I'm just looking for a tribute to Eddie, a night where people show up and play his stuff and talk about the guy and just say thank you for what you did and move on. That's, to me, it doesn't have to be even good. It could just be that.
Well, listen, if it ain't good, it can't be. And I don't think that it's going to be with some of the people that you mentioned. And I mean, Steve Vai and Satriani, yeah, I would definitely put those guys in the league with Van Halen, maybe even better than Van Halen. Who knows?
Yeah.
No.
No,
Some of these
again,
guys, no.
Again, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just throwing, but you can't tell me that I can give you 4 names. I can give you Satriani, I can give you Vi, I can give you Lynch, I can give you Thal, and I can even throw in Nuno Betancourt. I mean, these guys are classic guitar players. I mean, I'm not a fan, but Malmsteen, all these kind of guys go out there and play some Eddie Van Halen stuff. My God, it's just, again, it's not even about the music. It's just about playing his music, his style, and explaining why he was great. And to me, that's what a tribute's all about. It's a couple hours of that. And to me, it's just a shame that it hasn't been done to date. And I've heard differently. I've heard it's David Lee Roth is holding the whole thing up. I've heard Wolfie's holding the whole thing up. And the farther you get away from the less it's ever going to happen. So I think at this point it's probably past.
I don't know why Wolfgang would hold everything up. What has he got? If anything, it would help his career. I would think.
Yeah, but I think Wolfie's taken the tact of, I was in Van Halen, but now I'm in, was it Mammoth Van Halen or whatever that WMVH, whatever that band he's in now. I think he's trying to distance himself from that and create his own thing. And I think the guy's a good musician. He's a good guitar player. I think from what I've seen, and again, I can't tell you I've seen a ton of it. It's good, but it's almost sterile. You know what I mean? It's got no heart to it. I don't find it to be a lot of heart to his music. I don't care for it. I thought he did a nice job as a bass player in Van Halen. I thought he did a nice job, but I want to see Michael Anthony play Van Halen stuff one more time with a bunch of great guitar players and play tribute. That's what I'm looking for. I do think he's trying to blaze his own path, and I get the distancing himself from his father and the band, but you can bring together everybody one night. Have one, don't do like the Randy Rhoads thing where they had different guitar players. They took it around the country. They did it every year. To me, that's way too much. One time, big show. Somewhere out in LA, one of the big places, you pack the place and you have a night. To me, that's the way it's going. I agree. To me, it's a simple thing. Hard Rock and Sports, Jeff and Tom. We're talking some music right now. We'll get back to some football in a little bit. I want to talk about the Olympics. I want to throw this in real quick. Jeff, the 2028 Olympics is in the United States, Summer Olympics. They're bringing in 5 either new or some sports that haven't been around in a while. Cricket, squash.
Tom, do me one favor. I gotta take a quick leak,
Done.
and then I'll be right back. And I got something that I want to tell you, but I'll be right back.
Sure, good. So again, Hard Rock and Sports, that's Jeff and I'm Tom. We're here every Thursday night, hanging out, having a good time. Again, great big game Sunday. Giants Jets 1:00. I love the 1:00 games. I went to the Giant game. I got a rant when Jeff comes back, but I had a rant about one thing about that. I went to the Giant game Sunday, and I got to the stadium. My wife and I pulled up. It was about 12 o'clock for a 1:00 start. We pulled into the stadium at 12 o'clock. I got into my seat at 1:25. The parking was ridiculous. Now, I'm not talking about traffic. I'm talking about I circled Giant Stadium twice looking for gold parking. And all I kept asking was, well, where's gold? And they said, up ahead on the right. And you see another sign every once in a blue moon, gold parking straight ahead, or gold parking, make a right. And then there'd be another idiot. And I pull up and say, excuse me, can you tell me where gold is? Yep, it's up on your right. Okay, you drive up a little further. Took me an hour and change to find gold parking, which was in the American Dream parking lot, which I passed on 2 occasions, and probably a third option to get in. I will tell you that most of the people in yellow jackets are complete morons. There is no good signs that kind of point in the right direction. There's no sign that says gold parking is in the American Dream parking lot. Horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. To the point where we almost left. If it wasn't that I was given tickets by a customer and I would have felt bad not going to the game, I would tell you that it was completely ridiculous. And, forget about the walk across and, all of that stuff. I would tell you that it was an hour and a half from the time I hit the stadium till the time I got to my seat. I missed just about all of the first quarter. I think I got to my seat. It was about 5 minutes and change left in the first quarter. So I would tell you, if you're going to a Giant game, you're almost better off parking outside the stadium. You find a parking spot outside in one of those places. You pay your $10, $20, $30. You get on the bus. They drop you right in front of your gate, and you walk right in. Me, I circled Giant Stadium twice, and I could not find gold parking to the point where I nearly wanted to get out and punch the piss out of the last guy who told me up ahead on the right. Because
real quick, I just looked up when they did the Freddie Mercury concert for Queen.
Yep.
Right, because it's now available on DVD and Blu-ray if you're interested.
Thank
These
you.
are some of the people that played.
Okay.
David Bowie, Gary Sharon, Roger Daltrey, Def Leppard, Extreme, Bob Geldof, Guns N' Roses, James Hetfield of Metallica, Ian Hunter, Tony Iommi, Elton John, Annie Lennox, George Michael, Liza Minnelli, Robert Plant, Mick Ronson, Axl Rose, Seal, Lisa Stanfield, Elizabeth Taylor, Paul Young, and Zucchero, whoever he is. That's why I feel as though that there hasn't been a rush for any kind of Van Halen tribute. You just don't have the caliber musician to put on a show like that. That's what I feel.
Yeah, and again, I'm not looking for that. To me, that's not anything of what I'm looking for. To me, it's the Van Halen guys who are still alive and kicking, and a bunch of guitar players popping in. I don't need celebrity bass players. I don't need celebrity drummers. I need celebrity guitar players.
What you're looking to do is even maybe worse, because now you're thinking, imagine some of these guys that if they said, yeah, they would do it, now them fighting over who's going to do what songs, because they're like, well, I want to do Eruption. No, I'm going to do Eruption, and you can do this and that they may not even be able to pick songs to go out there and play.
I think you figure it out. To me, you get the 5, 6, 7 best guitar players that you can, or it doesn't have to be the best guitar players. It could just be 5 or 7 guitar players, name guitar players, and let them go out there. And you say throw all the songs in a hat. There's going to be 12 songs. Everybody pick out, and the songs you pick out are the ones you get to play. And I think anybody be thrilled. And nobody gets to do Eruption. You play Eruption on a screen with Eddie with all the different versions, and you cut it all together, and you let Eddie do Eruption on the way out the door, and that's how you close it. And in between, you play all this great stuff, and whatever guitar plays you get, if you're playing 15 songs, they pull out it from a hat, and that's the song you have to play. And nobody does Eruption live. You get Eddie to do it. And I should do this because I know how to make this work. I know how to make it work.
Well, listen, throw your hat in the ring and
I got to call Wolfie. That's it, Jeff. Call Wolfie.
You know, if you can pull Wolfie out of McDonald's long enough.
Yeah, maybe I'll call Valerie and I'll get to Wolfie that way. I'm telling you, you end the show with Eddie on the Jumbotron playing Eruption from the beginning of his career to the end of his career, and you cut it all together and you make it work. And Eddie plays Eruption. The screen goes black, the bombs go off, and the lights come on, and that's how it ends. Eddie and you have the Frankenstein guitar up on a platform, lights on it, and everybody walks out seeing the Frankenstein guitar. That's how you do this, and you celebrate the man. That's what you do. I don't need 50 bands. I don't need Guns N' Roses and all those other bands. I just need about 5 or 6 good guitar players who can play Eddie stuff, and let's roll.
I don't think you can find them, but
well, again, I don't know if I'm going to get the opportunity, but we'll see what happens. That's what Twisted did with AJ. Yeah, I think that's what you do. I think, to me, that's the answer. So anyway, let's move on. We were talking about the Olympics. I know, Jeff, you're not a big Olympics fan. I love the Olympics, and I love when it's in the United States because that means I get to watch it in real time. I get to watch it better, and it's the Summer Olympics. So, Jeff, they've brought back or added 5 new 5 sports: lacrosse, squash, cricket, something else, and a new sport. And I'm a huge fan of the sport, but it's not an Olympic sport, and I don't know why they brought baseball/softball back. I'm not a fan of this one though. Jeff, they've now added flag football to the Olympics.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work out. That's going to be odd. Don't they play down on a half a field or something?
They play usually at a half a field. I don't know if this is for demonstration purposes only, because sometimes they have these sports. I know baseball for a while was basically in the Olympics, but there was no medals. They played all the games, but they weren't handing out medals. The Olympics were about running and jumping and strength and this, I don't know how you put squash or what's next, pickleball. I think pickleball will be an Olympic sport at some point. But to me, football is football. I mean, it's not an Olympic event. And then who plays it? I mean, where do you get are you getting pro football players to do this? Is it college football players? Are they doing tryouts? Like, are you? I love the game of football. It does not belong in the Olympics.
You have guys that are making tens of millions of dollars a year. Do you think that they're going to be allowed to go play fucking flag football?
You know what? I know who I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be retired players. I think you're going to see retired players playing it. Guys like Jerry Rice. You're going to see some veteran, older guys, some guys who just recently retired. I don't know how many guys are going to be on the team. I don't know how it works, any of that. But I think it's going to be a show and going to try to draw attention to the Olympics. Think about it. If you had an Olympic sport and you had some of those Hall of Famers on there playing, how many people would show up at those events? I think it's going to be a combination. I have not seen that. I've not been told, but I guarantee you it's going to be somebody. It's going to be retired professional football players.
I don't know. We will soon find out, I guess. I don't see the point of flag football as it is.
Yep.
I think it's kind of silly, but okay.
I don't get it myself. That's the part I don't get.
And then as far as the baseball and softball, listen, a 9-inning game, unless they cut it down, or made a mercy rule or something of that nature to speed the game up, because I can see in Olympics speeding the game up just because you don't have that much time to do some of the things, like hockey is a time game, yes, but you know that it's an hour long to play, and it's going to take maybe a little bit more than an hour with intermissions in between and stoppage of play and this, that, and the other thing. Baseball's another story. Baseball could go on for 3.5 hours sometimes. You know what I mean? I don't see how baseball could do it. And then flag football, what would it be? 12-minute quarters, or 12-minute quarters with no clock stoppages or something?
I don't know. I don't know how they would do it. Baseball's been in the Olympics a bunch of times, as recently as 2020, I believe. So they do it quite. They've had baseball, softball in it quite a few times. Yeah, they've done it with pros, Adam, between hockey, basketball, hockey and basketball. I'd love to see the U.S. go back to amateurs. I think it was much more fun to have the amateurs do it, and when they won, it was a bigger event. And I think the world's caught up. I think the pros in the Olympics are not. And the same guys. I think after the 92 Dream Team, to me, it was kind of downhill. But regardless, I would still like to see the amateurs do it.
I don't have a problem with professional athletes representing their country for the Olympics. Like even like you said about the Dream Team and how there should be amateur athletes. Yeah, I see that to a point. But you want to know something? When you want the best athletes, why not let these guys have the chance to go out and represent their country? You know what? Would you even get that many professional athletes nowadays in the days of kneeling for the anthem and everything else? Would you get guys that are willing to go out there and play in the Olympics for no money?
Yeah, I mean, well, in the pro sports, you're getting them. I mean, you get them in basketball and hockey. As far as the football goes, I don't think you get the current athlete.
You did get guys that wanted to play for their country and everything, but now with more and more people that are willing to, sit back and say, well, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. This life matters, this one matters, and one thing that's got me to step away from sports real quick is all of this shit going on in Israel with Palestine, Hamas, and Israel, and how many people are in this country protesting Israel.
Oh, yeah.
I do not understand that. So, like just the thought of pride for your country, and here we are, some of these idiots are fucking protesting the terrorism coming from Palestine and trying to justify how it is that they're okay to do what they're doing. That it's I just don't understand it, Tom. I really don't. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it is disgusting. And again, if you're against Israel from the sense of how they've dealt with Palestine and that, I get it. I don't know enough about it. All I could say is after October 6th, where Hamas went in and did that, you can't possibly. Either you got to stay on the sidelines or you got to be pro-Israel. Otherwise, there is no good way to protest against Israel after that. And to me, anybody calling for a ceasefire or asking Israel to go soft, to me, if I was Israel, I would go into Gaza, find every single guy, anybody who supports Hamas, and they would be wiped off the face of the earth. I would completely back anything that Israel did. And you're right, Jeff. It is disgusting. Anybody marching the streets pro-Palestine, even if you for the right reasons, right now there is no right reason to back it.
No, there's, and thank you, Adam. There is no right reason for it. It's terrorism. It's supporting terrorism. I just don't understand it. You know what? You want to fight? Okay. I'm sure Israel is out there bombing buildings, neighborhoods, and everything else, and killing people by accident. Okay, but they're not in there taking babies and cutting babies' heads off. Okay, so please, think of that. Think of the babies, the infants that were slaughtered.
Oh my God!
At the hands of some of the Palestinians.
Oh my God! It's barbaric the things that I did not dare out there. If you want to see it, I did not go looking for the videos and the pictures of
I don't think
the
anybody wants to see
atrocities.
that.
Huh?
I don't think anybody wants to see
Yeah,
that.
I don't. But if you're that naive to believe that this was done other than to try to wipe out a race of people, I don't care what the reasons is. I don't care what Israel has done. There is no reason in the world that only Hamas is here for. The only thing Iran wants, the only thing that some of these other countries want is just to wipe Israel off the face of the earth, and genocide cannot be allowed. And if you're an American citizen and you are buying into this pro-Palestine / Hamas thing, then you should not be allowed in this country. I'm sorry. To me, you should be extradited out of this country immediately. I know we have free speech. I get it. But anybody who knows, who's heard what's gone on, and we have politicians, we have actors, we have celebrities who are doubting what happened and are pro-Hamas Palestine in the situation. And anybody who is in that position needs to go. I don't want them here. That's what I look at it.
Wait for this, okay? Wait for this, because this is what's happening, all right? Hamas was the first one that went in and did what they had to do and fuck with Israel and stuff like that and go in there and kill some of their people. And, okay, it's got to start somewhere. The rest of these Middle Eastern nations are just waiting for the right moment, I feel, to go all in. You got Iran, they're just waiting for the right moment. Syria, waiting for the right moment. Lebanon, waiting for the right moment. And maybe they're just waiting for somebody else, the United States, to bring one thing in. And then they say, that's it, there's a war against all of us.
Yes, I agree.
They just all jump in on Israel. And then next thing you know, Israel is fighting a war on how many fronts? And the scariest situation is, you don't realize, because now they don't talk about Ukraine as much because everything that's going on in Israel.
Sure. Absolutely.
But has World War III already started?
To a certain extent, yeah. And I think, and again, I'll say this, and again, we don't try to be political here, but if you voted for Joe Biden 4 years ago, you're getting exactly what you deserve. And that is instability. What you needed from your commander-in-chief was day one. You took American hostages. I'm giving you 48 hours. If you don't give them back, I'm coming to get them. B, you touch an American. I'm dropping the payload all over you guys. You won't be here the next day. We're back in Israel. We want no part of this. Keep us out of it. We'll support Israel. And of course, we got wishy-washy, mumbles, stumbles, Joe Biden. And that's the problem with our country right now. That's why all of this is happening. And if anybody doesn't believe that, you're not paying attention. Because Joe Biden is a weak individual, and because of the way the country is turned that way, right now, all of this stuff is going on, whether it's Ukraine, the bombings in Israel and all that. This is a direct result of having weak leadership here in the United States. And if anybody doesn't believe that, you're not paying attention.
Well, listen, you know what? Possibly true and everything, who knows? But let's put it this way, all right? What should have been done from the beginning is simply this, okay? It's a shame to say, but it was all handled wrong from the start.
Sure.
You turn around and you just simply say this much. The hostages, they'll forever be known as heroes. You have 24 hours to freedom, or we're coming over and we're just going to start at one end of your country and we're just going to completely level the entire fucking country. Men, women, and children, it does not matter. If we leave one, they'll breed more. We're coming. We're going to end it all. So here's your choice. You want to live? You want to have a generations somewhere down the line and show family and friends and everything else Palestinian history? Here's your chance to be a hero. Let them loose, because tomorrow at this time, it's going to be a completely different story. We're just going to rain bombs down. There's going to be nothing left. And those people, they're going to be the first heroes of the war. And I'm telling you, you know what I mean? That's it.
No, I couldn't agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more. And that's the problem with this. A lot of this stuff goes away if we have stronger leadership in the White House. And if people, I'm not telling you should have voted for Trump. All I'm telling you is you see what you're getting. The guy has been 50 years in politics. He's had the worst foreign policy. He's got nothing right ever. And he's now a wishy-washy 80-year-old guy who nobody has respect for and nobody fears us. This is Carter on steroids. That's exactly what you're seeing right now. And to me, 2024 can't get here fast enough because we got to get somebody else in office. I don't care who it is, Democrat, Republican, somebody with a pair of balls, somebody who can stand up and say, here's what's happening to you. Just what you said, Jeff. Fuck with us. I'm dropping the payload. You'll be a parking lot tomorrow. We'll rent it out to somebody to park their planes.
Yeah, but you see, these countries like this, right? They turn around and they feel as though that nothing is going to happen because they're not going to go after the hostages. They're not going to take a chance.
Of course. Yeah.
You need somebody that's going to turn around and say, you know what hostages are? Heroes. They're heroes. That's all they are. They're not hostages. They're heroes. You made them heroes. And you know what? Anybody that goes into another country or gets caught by another country, we're giving that country X amount of time to let them go. If you don't let them go, that's it. We're just gonna fucking bombard the fuck out of your place. That's it. There's gonna be nothing left.
I could not agree with you more. You killed the bee that stung you. Oh my God. Yeah. To me, the only way you deal with this is by striking hard. I mean, they wiped out ISIS, got to the point where there was nothing left. They had Iran on the ropes. They had no money. They were dying, and this administration let them back in. They breathed life. They gave them billions and billions of dollars. They let them produce oil. Yeah, I mean, but even before that, they released the sanctions on a bunch of money, and all this money has just done nothing but funnel into these other groups, and they've been allowed to sell oil, and they are back to being. Trump starved them. Trump literally starved them to the point where they were going to be nothing left. They were just going to implode inside themselves, and now they're back, and they're causing all of this. And if you think it stops with Israel, it starts with Israel, and then it moves to other places in the Middle East, and eventually, maybe not in our lifetime, they come for us. And the problem is, there's nobody right now to stand in their way, and all the Biden administration has done is placated them. They open up the Iran deal. They let them go ahead and start trying to produce nuclear weapons, all of that stuff, and produce oil. And this is what you're getting. And anybody, Jeff, back to your original point, anybody in their right mind that is out there and is anti-Israel at this point, you need to have your head examined, and you need to go move someplace else. And I would not for any other reason. But if I had a friend who came out and said, I'm pro-Palestine in this, I would no longer be friends with that person. I couldn't be friends with that person anymore. I'm sorry. That would be you're allowing terrorists, and if what they did to the poor people, they should be wiped off the face of the earth.
Yeah, that to me is what it's all about. These people that are turning around and saying this stuff that have no idea what they're even talking about. Like, you don't realize what you're saying, what you're condoning. And because you can't turn around and say, okay, I'm pro-Palestine and I'm against what Israel's doing to them. And then one day, when one of these people show up here in the United States and they go running through Times Square with a machete and a fucking semi-automatic weapon, and they're wiping people out, for New Year's Eve or Christmas season or whatever. And you can't turn around, well, don't shoot me because I protested Palestine and this and that. Everything should be given equal rights. Okay.
I was saying, you're for everything until it comes for you. I say it all the time with the woke. People have finally gotten to the point where the woke has been, kind of being pushed aside now. People are starting to get tired of it because they woke up one day and said, oh, wait, they're coming for what I believe in now. And it's the same thing that until the terrorist shows up here and says, I'm about to chop off your tits. And they go, oh, I protested for you. Oh, thank you. Thank you for letting us come into your country. So until they come for you, you're all for it. But if you don't think they're going to come, do you think that if any of those people came here, that they would allow any of us to live? They would not. To me, I'm sorry, I'm not big on genocide. But if you went over there and you wiped out that entire section, anybody with Hamas, drop a bomb on Iran and just sell it for sand, I would be all for it. I'm sorry. If you're an Iranian citizen, get out. But if I'm Joe Biden, I'm circling up there saying you got 10 minutes and I'm dropping the payload. So,
yeah. Hey, listen, just ask yourself this one question. September 11, 2001, how many of those guys on the plane told any of the possible Muslims that want to flight with them to not take that plane? Don't get on this flight. Tell me they stood at the gate and told everybody don't get on this plane.
No, not at all.
There you go.
Absolutely not. You're 100% right. Everybody got on those planes.
That day were told to stay home.
Yeah. Everybody got on that plane. They didn't care. You could have been Muslim, Jewish, Catholic, regardless. They didn't give a shit.
Nope.
So it's a shame and unfortunate of turn of events. But I think the bigger thing is I reading the paper, watching the news, and seeing how many people were actually protesting pro-Palestine, regardless of what the answers are, what the problems are. You can't be that person after October 6th. So my heart really goes out to the people of Israel, and I have no use for anybody who's protesting that way. So Jeff, good job by you bringing it up, because I should have brought it up early.
Tom, it is true. It is true, and you got to think of the bigger overall picture at times, and it sucks, man, and it's a shame that we live in a world that we live in. And I was telling somebody this the other day at work when they were saying about, or just at band practice last night, we were talking about it. They were talking about, well, the liberals this, the liberals that. I'm like, you know what? Listen, that's the least of your fucking problems, and I can prove that to you. All right. The reason I say that it's the least of your problems is because think back to the show All in the Family. Remember All in the Family with Archie?
Sure. Absolutely.
And Mike Stivic were arguing all the time about politics.
Sure.
And a lot of the stuff they were arguing about, look, Frank Jeffrey with nothing better to do tonight.
I'm getting a whole bunch of them myself. Yeah, I got it.
Everything they were arguing about, they're still arguing about today.
Absolutely.
So a lot of it, what's going to happen with it? A lot of it's nothing is going to change in another 50 years from now. Nothing is going to change because they can't make their minds up. It took them 50 years to get this far, and they're still arguing about it. In another 50 years, they'll still be arguing about it. But it's the other little things that could change your life on a dime, are the things that people that, they're not worrying about, and they think that, well, it's no big deal. That's the stuff that's bad. The stuff that's getting swept behind you that you don't worry about. There's been Democratic presidents and Republican presidents over the years in office, and sometimes they did nothing. Sometimes they did something. Sure. But you know why? At this point in time, this guy's a fucking idiot. We all know that. I don't think there's anybody. I can't see how they say that he has a chance to win. I just cannot fucking see it.
I think it comes down to the anti-whoever vote. I think at this point, Trump's leading the pack. It's good. It looks like it's gonna be trouble. Although his recent court problems, aside, I don't know. But it would just be how many people either don't vote for Biden, because I've talked to a lot of younger people who voted for Biden the last time who said, I don't care if he's the guy, I won't vote at all. So maybe, but I also see Gavin Newsom. I think the Democrats last minute are going to sneak somebody else in. I believe that Joe will bow out at some point and somebody else will step in last minute where they don't have a chance to be vetted. I think if you vet these people right now, the Gavin Newsoms of the world or Kamala Harris, none of them stand out. And I think they're going to do a last minute where you have no choice. So I think at the last minute, Joe steps aside for health reasons and somebody else steps in and they get the vote because people don't know enough to say they're morons. That's the problem. I think that's what's going to happen. Because you're right, Jeff. Nobody can vote for this guy. You can't possibly look at this guy and say he's going to get any better a year from now and 5 years from now. I can't even imagine.
He's going to get worse. He looks like the kindly old uncle that they put in a comfortable chair in the corner. Yeah. Somebody goes and gets him something to eat. You need a drink or anything, Uncle Joe? Uncle Joe's got to use the bathroom. Do me a favor. Get the kids and put them in the other room so Uncle Joe could go to the bathroom so we don't have to worry about tripping over them. And you get them back and forth before all the people come. Like, you're good? And then you put them down. We'll bring you ice cream in a half hour. And that's it.
I agree. Yeah, I just think they know they can't bring him in there, but they can't pull him out now because it would give too much time. A lot of these people have major warts. I mean, if you look at Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, his people are leaving there by the droves. They got high taxes. They got high gas prices. Their homeless is out of control. So if you got them in there 6 months in advance, people get a chance to see the worst. But if you bring them in there last minute, these things don't get exposed. And I think that's what's going to happen. I'd be shocked if Joe Biden is on the ticket come November of 2024. But we'll see. But one thing that is on the ticket, and we failed to play early, and we have to do it now, is our Raider report.
Yeah, part 2 of tonight didn't creative.
So should I hold off on part 1?
No. Go ahead. Yeah, we'll play it. We'll have it for next week, man.
I agree. I agree. So again, we're going to end the show like we do every week with the Raider report. This is part 1. You'll see part 2 next week. And let's get that up on the board. We did the Pepe. Let's where is it? Over here. Here you go.
Hey, boys, it's me, Tom Jinka. Here's the weekly Raider report. I got a lot on my mind this week. I got that text message from Jesus asking me to come in the office. Well, now that I know what it's about, I guess I could tell you what it's all about. It seems as though that Jesus made a deal with me. The deal is this. I can go back down to earth. Not only will I go back down to earth, but my Raiders will also be undefeated. And they will get to the AFC Championship, make it to the Super Bowl and win. But God said there's one thing that I must do in order for all of this to happen. And I have to weigh this out. And I don't know if I'm ready to do this. But it seems as though that God wants me. And stay tuned for part 2 later on in the show. Thank you.
We gotta wait. We gotta wait a whole week to find out what Jesus wants Dom to do.
This is like when JR got shot, man. 40 years ago.
Remember didn't that turn into the dream sequence and all that other shit?
Well, that I don't know, but I don't have that kind of technology.
So
and, I think what's going to happen is that the half man is going to come with something that nobody would ever have thought possible. And he has a lot on his plate.
I see that Jesus is texting him and giving him some options. So we'll wait with bated breath for next Thursday night, November 2nd, to hear what that's all about.
Any idea what it might be?
I have no idea what Jesus could be asking for Dominic to do in order to come back down again. I can't even imagine. So
well,
maybe it's give up the Raiders. I don't know. I really have no idea.
I don't know. I know.
You do?
I know. I just totally forgot to make it in time, and I came upstairs 5 minutes ahead of the show, and I tried it, and it just wasn't flowing. Because when I make those, I wait till I was like, I got to make it now, and I start making it. And
you got to feel it. You got to channel your inner Dom, and you got to get his words into you, and it's important. You can't just rush it. It can't be forced, and it has to just come from a natural point of view. So we'll wait for next week. I'm gonna leave this one up on the screen. We'll replay this into next week's spot just as a reminder when we get back together next Thursday night. So in the meantime, Jeff, before we end the show here, what's going on? You've had some shows in there. You played one that last past weekend. You did a nice. I heard some of your stuff with 25 missions. What else is going on with the Remorons and 25 missions now?
Well, right now, 25 missions doesn't have anything planned through the holidays. So we're going to be, I'm assuming we're going to start working on some different stuff. Hopefully, we'll see how that goes. Not tomorrow, this Saturday at Creshire Mansion is the Remorons. We open up the show at 3:30. November 25th at Mother Pugs, the Remorons, and then back again at December 30th, Remorons. And we got a nice set list going. I don't know if we're going to be opening the show on Saturday and November 25th. December 30th, I do not know. It looks like we're going to be headlining the show. It is what it is. And, hopefully we get a longer set this time and we get to play a full set and have a little fun out of it. But listen, it's all in good fun. But right now, the biggest thing to remember is it's football season. Let's get through the football season. And also, speaking of videos and characters, Peppy, our Remorons are going to be at the Creshire Mansion, Frank, 3:30. But Peppy's life is about to change too.
Why is that?
We're going to see.
Oh, okay.
All the creative control of this is locked in this odd-shaped dome.
That's true.
On my shoulders.
That's true.
And I think of a lot of different things. And Frank Catalano's got to be good. He has to be good.
He does?
Oh, yeah. Or else his hero is going to go bad.
Well, on that note, stay tuned. Jeff, good luck with the Remorons this weekend. Make sure you post it so everybody knows about it. Again, December 30th, November 25th. Thinking at this point, I will be at the November 25th show. I'll be back from Florida, and we'll probably be able to make that one. December 30th, might be able to do that one too if I'm not going away, because we're going to be doing the big Christmas Jam. The only way the Christmas Jam would change is if I'm going to be in Florida for 4th of July. Jesus Christ. For New Year's Eve, then we might do it the Friday before Christmas Eve. So I'll put it out there, see what everybody's best dates are. But there will be a Christmas Jam this week. Good night, Adam. There will be a Christmas Jam this year. I guarantee it, because we should have done it last year, and we kind of got complacent. So Jeff worked his ass off to try to make it happen. And we all just kind of sat back on it. So this year I will pitch in and get it done.
You know what, dude? It would be nice to it's something that we've done for how many years in a row.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
It would be great to do it again and just to see everybody there for Christmas. We had some fucking great shows, great times doing it, and I had a blast.
Yep.
And it's just a way to get everybody there.
Nope. I'm gonna put a message out tonight as soon as we're done with the show. I'll settle in like I always do and get a message out. But in the meantime, we'll be back next week. We'll be celebrating the start of the holiday season right here on the Hard Rocket Sports Show, which we look forward to every year. So, guys,
I want in on your trivia.
Yes, no. Again, I'm going to put together a Christmas trivia somewhere down the line, and we'll get a bunch of contestants. Of course, you'll have to be involved. Whether I think it'd be more fun for you to compete than to be the host. Because you're such a big Christmas guy, but we'll discuss it. But we're going to do a Christmas trivia contest here on the Hard Rocket Sports Show. I will come up with some prizes. I still have some shirts and some stuff laying around, so we'll figure it out. But we'll get some people involved. So, but for this week, nice. Thank you very much, Frank. We did get back off the schneid as to your team. We caught you in a bad week with you have your team on bye weeks.
Well, that and listen, Frank, without a doubt, we also took into consideration some of the things going on in your personal life, or we would have been on you like white on rice.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Tommy can't pay anybody to talk smack back and forth with us. We just want to have a little fun.
That's it.
And make some bulletin board shit, and nobody wants to do it.
Yeah. It's a boring league.
Like, oh, high and mighty, like, oh, good game, fellas. No, we want to start shit with you. We want to talk shit, man.
Exactly, or they want to suggest ridiculous trades.
Oh my God!
Go trade with Carl Graham. He's a moron. I love Carl. His trades are moronic.
I couldn't understand him. Like, he tells you in one breath that he ain't giving up Breece Hall for Jared Goff. Okay, that's fine. what makes you think they're going to be stupid enough to say yes to Mahomes?
Yeah.
To some second-rate bench players that you got. Get the fuck out of here. You want Mahomes? I'll give you Mahomes, Brees Hall, and fucking the guy from the fucking Dolphins,
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill. You want to give up them two? Without a doubt, I'll give you fucking Mahomes.
But yeah, problem is,
I said that's why. Don't fucking dare put that on the thing. Because God forbid he says yeah and he accepts the trade. Fuck that.
he's
No way.
the best part is he's indignant. Like, well, nobody's going to trade you running. That's fine. We didn't ask to trade Jared Goff. You said you wanted Goff. We told you what we wanted to get him. But he's indignant about it. Is the funny part. I mean, you see the text messages back and forth. It's just amazing.
Oh, there was more that you didn't send me?
Oh yeah. I'm telling you, it was tons of them. I just gave you a couple of them. He was indignant. Like, who's going to give you anything for Goff? Why are you offering me anything then? Like, you're the guy offer. I didn't reach out to you. You reached out to me. And he keeps trying to give me wide receiver. I told him we got enough wide receivers. We need a running back. If you don't have a running back, well, I'll make a trade for running back and then I'll trade him. Okay, if you get a running back, let me know. And then we'll make a trade for Jared Goff. Nobody's going to give you a running back. Okay, I didn't ask them to. This was the conversation going back and forth with him. So
yeah, and then he said something about he won anyway, even with no quarterback, he won anyway.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
What the fuck is the problem? Then I guess you're all right. You know,
that's the part I couldn't understand, Jeff. That's the part I couldn't understand. But it's the fun part of being in the league.
Brees Hall is averaging like 14 points a game, it said, and we're willing to give him fucking Goff, who's like averaging 30 points a game. So you're getting 16 points right off the bat. You're getting 16 more points.
I got it. I agree with you. Even if you went out and got a running back at that point who got you 5 points a week, you're still way ahead of the game.
Oh, I switched Latavius Murray for Ezekiel Elliott because Latavius Murray was projected to get more points this week than Ezekiel Elliott. And I've been watching the Waller situation.
Okay.
But I think, well, you know what? It's too late.
Yeah, Kincaid's playing right now. So I still think it was a good move because of the Jet game. So I would be surprised if Waller has a huge game against the Jets.
That and Knox has been put on the IR. So Kincaid is playing.
Well, let's hope for the best and see where it goes. But in the meantime, we're going to end this one right here. Thank you for everybody. Frankie, Adam, Peter, Louie, everybody who chimed in. It's so much fun when the guys pop in on this. It is a sausage fest, though, Jeff. It's starting to become a serious sausage fest.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like good thing you're 60 and married.
Exactly right. But thanks for you guys. Good night, Frankie. Talk to you soon. But it's a lot of fun. We get to do this with everybody paying attention to us, and we got a lot there. There's a whole sheet of paper I didn't get to, but that's okay. So tune in next week. We'll get the Adventures of Pepe. Where his next stop is, and of course we'll get part 2 and find out what Jesus texted to Dom. So stick around, guys. We got a lot to get to next week, and we start off a big holiday celebration. So I wish you guys a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week, great weekend, and a great week next week. And we hope you come back and tune in and do this when we do this all over again next Thursday night. So again, for Jeff Towinski, myself, and everybody at the Hard Rock and Sports Show, we say thank you. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Hefe, I'll talk to you off the air.
Later, man. Be good, bro.
You got it, pal.